tried to crunch the ice before it started and I missed the timer.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to No Impulse Control, and Jasmine is coughing away. We might have to restart this one. Who knows? Okay, well, I'm Justin, and that's Jasmine. Yeah, that was very poor timing, honestly.
I'm sorry, my lungs decided to decompensate right when we recorded.
Hmm.
How are you guys doing? Justin, how are you?
Well, I was letting them talk. That was kind of rude of you to talk
My
over them.
apologies. I figured they'd
Jeez.
pause and answer and we could keep going.
Yeah, but you didn't give them enough time to pause and answer.
How are you guys?
That
Shame,
sucks.
really, yeah.
All right, I'm okay. I am tired, I think is the word I would use. This first week of school has been
Kicked
a bit
my
of
butt.
Yeah, a bit of chaos, and to add on top of that, I haven't stopped because I do that to myself in terms of soccer and wrestling and whatever else I have going on. Oh, we had open house this past week.
You have a
There
wedding
were 3 out
this
of the
weekend.
wedding this weekend. There were 3 out of the 3 out of the 5 days of school that I didn't get home until after 7:30. So there's that. That was fun, which is not common for me. I know you're a little different. You kind of stay after because that's what you do. I leave when the bell goes off.
I know. I get text from Justin where he's like, "I'm home. Are you want to record?" And I'm like, "Ooh, I just started project number 8."
Anyways, Jasmine, how are you? Other than dying,
doing
from
great. No, I'm okay. This first week of school was rough. Restart. This first week of school was fine considering where I'm working. But it just rough things happened. But it just forgot how busy it gets the first week. Summer school's great. But it's so much just welcome in everybody at 9 a.m. Today we're watching a movie. Tomorrow we're going to the beach. It's all those things. And now that we're back in the swing of real school, day in, day out, it's I gotta teach 45 minutes reading and then 45 minutes writing and then 45 minutes math. Obviously we teach because it's, our job, but
yeah,
it just, it's a lot jumping back into that, so.
But. And for me, it's the stamina. I've
got
year,
no
a
stamina.
day like this. Yeah, at the end of what was it, Wednesday? I was like, it's a Friday yet? I am ready for the weekend.
Right?
And we had one day with kids.
Tuesday. I was there Tuesday, and I was like, I'm ready. I'm done now.
Yeah. But yeah, so gotta love school. I think we actually, as I'm sitting here thinking about what our topics are, we don't have any positive things to talk about.
Well, I was just, so you bring that up, and it brings up a really good point. We were just talking about oh yeah, the first week of school was really rough. And I will say this just because I know our viewers, but small trigger warning if,
Yes. Yeah.
Some of the topics we might talk about today are a little darker because it's what's happening.
I was going to say, we're recording this on September 7th, which...
So 3 days after this event happened.
Yeah.
First and foremost, to the 4 victims that passed away. I'll start. Sorry. Didn't even say what this was about. We're talking about the school shooting in Georgia. That happened on the 4th. On Wednesday. So as we're saying, it was a rough start to school year, keeping in mind, it was for a lot of reasons, but that was hard to read about, and they all are. But for the 4 victims, there were 2 students and 2 teachers that passed away, and that just, it sucks, absolutely sucks. And I don't know if you got this. I was watching a couple other creators that talked about it and said it was only 4 victims that passed away. And my instinct, that, and it's the worst thing in the world to think, right? But that was my initial thought, was oh, it was only 4 people. And I was like,
Thank
oh my
goodness,
God, Jasmine.
only 4 people died.
And I was like, oh my God, Jasmine, it was 4 people. And it just, that word only really, like, and it broke my heart reading about. And then I saw that the suspect was 14. He just started his freshman year of school. And I don't, do you know any of the things about him? Have you read any
I
of it?
don't.
So there's a lot. I perseverate on things. You know this about me, Justin. I perseverate on things quite frequently, but
Mm-hmm.
school shootings are something I like hyper focus in on a lot because I want to know every way that I, can protect myself and my kids if, God forbid, something ever does happen. But the kiddo Colt, I'll say his name because it's all over the news. Colt Gray is 14 years old, freshman in high school. Last year, he got investigated by the FBI for school shooter threats. His dad was told that he, should not be near weapons, yada yada, like all the things that they're always told. Your kid is
Yeah.
a danger to society. Please, don't arm them. Um, he also, the dad, is being charged with, if I remember correctly, and if anybody else knows the correct ones, but correct me. But it's 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 4 counts of, I can't remember what the 4 counts was, and then 8 counts of endangering children. He was told last year, 2023, that like he had guns in the house. The police were like, "Do you have any weapons? Do you have any guns?" "Yes, we do." "Does this child who is a danger to society have access to them?" "No, he does not." And then for Christmas, he bought him an AR-15. And like part of me is like, yeah, I get it, Second Amendment right, whatever. Like you buy people guns, but maybe if your kid is told that he's a school shooter threat, we don't buy him a weapon
Yeah.
at 14. And I know that's going to piss a lot of people off because I know where we live.
I mean, though, like, reality is that, like, if you are told as a parent, maybe don't do it. Like, you were literally told don't have your
Your
kid
son
have
is a
weapons
danger.
around you. Yeah.
Why would you
Maybe
want
use
to
better
enable
judgment.
that? Right.
Yeah. Like, there's one
And
thing, like, I love all my kids. I have
yeah,
great kids, and a lot of them are hunters, a lot of them are gun enthusiasts,
but
whatever.
they've probably gone to classes and their parents have
They've
talked to them and they've done the
they've
safety
done
training.
trainings, they've
Right.
done, like, their parents are very smart about, this is their, like, there is an
Well,
element of safety to that.
and they're not suspected school shooters.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like that's the other thing.
But yeah,
So,
I'd like to just reiterate what you said. Like the four victims that were unfortunately killed during this
and
event,
30 injured is what the
and
count is
30
right now.
injured. Yeah, it shouldn't be that way. And like you said, oh, it's only four.
Right.
That's crazy that we're even thinking that only four.
And this isn't
Like,
even the first one of this year, like mass
no.
shooting.
Which the school year, for those of you that are not involved in school, just started.
We
Around the nation, just started.
we just started a week ago. Sorry, this topic makes me like teary. I apologize. We just started a week ago. Schools out west just started mid-August.
Yeah. It
That's a
just
month.
started.
And like
It's crazy. It's crazy how that all happens so
there's
quick
a
and so like
there's a power, and I think you would agree with this as a teacher and as a empathetic person. There are 2 parts of my brain right now going off. One is like, this kid should be locked up, he should never have had access to it, blah blah blah. And the other part of me is saying, that is a baby right there, that is a 14-year-old baby. I just want to scoop him up and hug him because he has been failed over and over again by the people that are supposed to protect him, and he was clearly mentally ill. And the people that were supposed to protect him and keep him safe from himself and from others didn't do their job, and in fact enabled him to do this. So when I saw his dad was being charged, there was not an ounce of like, oh well, that guy probably whatever. Like
no,
it was like,
you
good,
deserve it. You deserve it.
absolutely. And I think as a teacher, like, we see hard kids all the time. I have some hard kids. I love every one of my kids. And even when they're at their hardest and I'm like, oh my god, this is the most frustrating thing in the world, like, this whatever they're doing right now, there's that part of me going, they're 10. Like, they don't have the adults doing what the adults are supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And that just, I mean, anyway.
Yeah. I think of like
yeah.
even like yesterday, Like Friday, we
Yeah.
closed out the school week, and it was great. For me specifically, I had seventh graders that I'm still learning their names, and so like I'm
Mm-hmm.
like struggling to remember the names, but I can give them nicknames. And like
Mm-hmm.
I'm goofy about it. I'm not like mean about my nicknames or
Yeah.
anything like that. I don't mean any harm to them. And most of the time I'll reiterate to them like, hey, if you don't want me calling you this, tell me and I'll just
Mm-hmm.
stop. It's just kind of like this is my way of trying to get to know you and be goofy.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one girl, one seventh grade girl who the whole class, all she was doing was giving me side eye. Like she was sitting
Yeah.
sideways to me, so like part of that was she was looking
She's
at me
closing
like
herself
this,
off.
but also she was
Right.
giving me side eye. It was very clear,
Right.
and so I couldn't remember her name, so I started calling her Miss Side Eye because that's what she was doing,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just Miss Side Eye, Miss Side Eye. I just can't imagine, it, like specifically her. Like I can't imagine that being because she's around
Yeah.
that age. I can't imagine that being her. Like that's
Yeah.
so.
That's the other thing is like when you get to a point that the FBI has investigated your child for like kids say shit all the time, right? Like I just had a kid a couple years ago, last year, whatever, who regularly, so for those of you who don't know, like I work day treatment, right? So when kids have gone through the system, they've gone through all of the different types of schooling, we're like last stop on the train before residential usually, hospitalization, stuff like that. And there is so much more into it. I'm just because I know a bunch of my coworkers watch. Write it in the comments. I'm not getting into it right now. I know there's so much more, but I've had kids who have said, I'm going to bring a gun to school. I'm going to kill you all, blah, 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 in the heat of the moment. And I've never once been like, that is true. This is 100% true. I believe it, with some of the kids. Some of them I've been like, but when you get to a point where like the FBI is investigating you, you've gone past one or two times saying it. You have made concrete threats
Yep.
and you have shown that you are a threat. Now, the FBI also could have done a much better job. Me personally, I think that they could have done a much better job by like, you know, really investigating their home life and making some reports and maybe even just like talking to the family about psychiatric evaluation and all that kind of stuff. But resources are running thin in the help department for America. So
Right. I
anyway,
just I can't
yeah,
I don't know. I just can't imagine being in a situation like that. And I know for a fact like I'm in that lifestyle. I'm in that like there's a potential. There's always a potential, which is scary. It's a scary thought to think.
it's like
But
not
there's
an
always a
if but a
potential.
when.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whether that when happens in my lifetime or not, like it's always there. And it's
Mm-hmm.
scary to think that like I was watching a TikTok the other day and it was talking about um one of I don't think it was this specific school
Mm-hmm.
shooting, but it was a different one where the principal ended up being one of the casualties, one of the people that ended up
Yeah.
dying.
It was
And the
I think it was a lot, maybe there were so many.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the other thing is there's so many, but yes, I do remember the one you're talking about.
But it was like the daughter of the principal who was in the building knew as soon as she heard that something was happening, she knew that she was not going to see her father because that's just the
Ooh.
person that he is. And that to me, like,
Ooh.
and I know you and I know Darcy know this about me.
Yeah, I know you're
That is
jumping in the
me.
line of fire.
I'm getting in front of it.
I
I'm going to
know.
take down that person. I don't care what they are, who they are, where they are. Like,
Or
I'm
you're at
going
least
to
going to
stop it.
block your kids from it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's scary to think that that's a when. That's a when.
Yeah.
It's not a if. It's a when.
And
And
how
for my
yeah.
family members who are listening, like I'm sorry, but that's just who I am. That's what I was raised to do, and that's what I will never
Not to blame
harm.
you guys for doing that.
I'm not blaming you, no, but I will never put my students in harm's way.
Right.
And if that means that I have to get in front of it, then I will. And
Yeah.
that's just who I am. And that's just who like and this sounds like I'm being like, "Oh, that's who I." No, that's I've always had this
Unfortunately,
mindset.
that's who you are. Like not
My when I
unfortunately,
was
but
doing
like
when I was doing student teaching,
oh,
we had a bomb threat in the school that I was student teaching. My teacher told me to stay home, and I said no. I was going to be there.
yeah. For the record, the rest of us who knew about this unhappy with the situation.
And you know what?
You're
I
fine.
care, but I don't care. Like
I
I'm going to
know.
do what's right for my kids.
But and this is not to negate that. This is the other side is yes, do what you want, do what you need to do for your kids, and you have people at home who need
Mm-hmm.
you too.
Oh yeah. It's
And
not
it's so
like I'm
it's
gonna jump
like,
in front of the bullets or anything like that. Like if I have to, I
I've met
will.
you.
If I have to, I will. But
Right,
that's a literal last like
but
ditch effort.
I think the other thing, just from knowing you, that I've seen is, even if it's not getting, in the way of the shooter and, like, taking them down, because that's what they are, is they're shooters
Yeah.
or bomb threat people or whatever, but like, not even just getting in the way, but you'll do what you need to protect your kids, up to and including getting them out of that situation.
Yeah.
And if that
That's gonna be
means,
my first goal is
right,
to
and that's what yeah,
evacuate my building or evacuate
right,
my room, I should say.
right. And it just, it, when I started, like, teaching school, my first thought was, oh my gosh, I can't wait to decorate my classroom. And then, as you go through every year, education courses, we hear more and more and more people dying, and how scary it is to be a teacher. And on top of the fact that teachers are not paid what they should get paid, they also have to be bodyguards and, bullet holders for their kids. And you hear, like, all these teachers that risk their lives because there's a school shooter. And it's like, oh my God, what field are we in? Like,
We're
I
not
didn't,
even just hearing about it. There are videos out there of the
yeah,
situation that we're
there was
talking
a,
about.
there was a post news press thing that came out that's the good and bad of smartphones in schools, and it's specifically about school shooting, not even just like whatever. The good thing is we have documentation of things now, so
Mhm.
when we say things like, this is what it feels like to be in that situation, and we have, I'm going to come off my high horse for a moment, off my hill that I will die
Soapbox.
on, my soapbox, thank you. Leveling, we have some politicians here in this country who have said things like, Sandy Hook didn't happen. It was made up. The victims of Sandy Hook were not real children. We have politicians who will say that about this. They have said it about every school shooting, that it's not really that bad. If they had just not had phones at school, this wouldn't have been an issue. This is whatever. And that takes so much away from the importance of what happened, and it boils my blood personally, to hear people talking about, kids, little children, minors, 14 and under year olds dying, um
18 and under.
18 and under, because it's high schoolers too, but uh the Sandy Hook one was like the elementary school.
Yeah, they were little
they
littles.
were they would have graduated this year, this past June they would have graduated,
Yeah.
and all of their friends graduated without them. um and to hear politicians still talking about that and saying, this isn't real, this didn't happen, these victims are not, like, they're not real victims, they're lying about this. Why the hell would they lie about this? What did they get out of lying about this? Trauma? Like, anyway, but leveling on that, like, we have these people who say that about these situations, and then we see documentation from it, and we see the videos, and it's not the ones where I don't know if you've had to watch it in Alice training. For those of you who aren't in education, we go through as teachers a training every year called Alice. Alice training teaches you as teachers how to barricade and evacuate and survive a school shooting. And some schools bring in a police officer who volunteers with blanks or rubber or whatever. Sometimes, like, some schools do Nerf guns, but most of them fire off a real gun in the school at random during a training, so that you get to practice doing all of the stuff you're learning. And they do it every year. And I don't know about your training, but our training showed the video of Columbine, and they showed what happened to the people who barricaded versus the people who didn't. And it was like pros and cons of barricading, and like this funny infographic video. And it's so dystopian to watch this video every year. It's like when we were kids and had to watch the 9/11 video every year of the people jumping out of the freaking towers. Why were we showing 8-year-olds that video? Why are we having to show teachers the Columbine video? We understand the pros and cons at this point of barricading our classrooms. We know that's why we buy certain furniture.
That's why there's a nice big shelf next to my door that I can knock over.
Yep. That's why my classroom has curtains. Like, all the things that we do to care for those babies that these parents are
They're
leaving.
not even our babies.
They're not
That
our
like
babies.
they are because we make them, but they're not
Right.
our kids. And that's the other big thing like that frustrates me is like sorry to cut you off, but it
You're
frustrates
fine.
me that like the idea that people who are sending their kids to us to teach them
I'm looking
are
after
not
your
then
babies all day
supporting
long.
us when we're like,
Right.
hey, there's a school shooting, maybe we do something about it.
Yep.
That's what frustrates me.
But why
I
would
don't
we do
blame the
anything
kids.
about it?
Yeah, well, because taxpayer dollars and all that. Like,
Yeah.
chill out, dude. Like, so frustrating to me.
And
And like,
yeah.
I don't know. It just drives me up a wall. The idea that like
Yeah.
this is you sending your kids to a place that is dangerous.
You're sending your kids into an active bomb threat every day that you send them. There is always going to be a threat. When I was in high school, so I was in high school in Machias, Maine, not big city, not, target area, right? And I can remember multiple times my bus having to turn around for a bomb threat, or we're at school and a threat comes in, or we did a lockdown. I had to go between buildings. We had to leave the building we were in to go to the next building for some classes.
Mm-hmm.
So that meant that everybody was in a different location. So if we had to go to the gym, like how afterwards, after they've caught the person, they go to the gym for reunification, right? For a lot of schools, we would have to leave our building to go to the next one to go to the gym, which had windows and was exposed. And all of my classes that were on the ground floor had these doors that led to the outside so that you could open them up for fresh air or evacuate. Like, that's the reality of it, or evacuate. Or they had these giant windows you can open for fresh air or to evacuate. But also, it's a threat to have big windows. It's
Because just as
scary.
easy as it is to go out, it's easy to go in.
It's so easy to shoot a window in. Like, 3 bullets, maybe. You can break glass pretty quickly. Just take the butt of the gun. It's very easy. And that every time that, something happens at my current school or something happened at school, my heart stops. Even when it's something small. For the first year of me working at my new school, every time the TCI would come over the intercom, it it would like stop me for a second and I'd go, nope, this is what happens. This is normal. These calls are okay. Like, these are the ones that need to happen during the day. And now it just panics me. And we have all these safety features and it's exhausting. And I wish we were able to teach in a way or in an environment like a, you know what I mean, like a state environment, country environment, where we weren't constantly worried about, is my school next?
Yeah.
Are my babies next? Is my class going to be the class? Do I have to? So trigger warning started earlier, but this is a bigger one. These babies had to drag their teacher back in the classroom after she had been shot and try and keep her alive. They they are high schoolers. They are not trained EMTs. They are not trained doctors. That's traumatizing for them even. They had to drag their shot teacher back into their room and they tried to save her. And she died in front of them. Then they got escorted out of the building with every police officer in that freaking building pointing their guns at them as they're walking out. I'm sure you've seen the videos. As they're walking out like this with their hands on their head and they're pointing the guns at them and they're like, they're trying to get them out. And I get it, it's a safety thing, but like, talk about trauma. And they're walking past their two friends in the hallway, sort of covered with cloths. They're walking past their dead friends. And
Yeah.
now they get to go to the rest of their school year in some capacity or another every day worrying if they're going to be hit again or shot at again or what's going to happen again. That trauma will be with them forever.
Yeah, it will.
Sorry,
I will say that it's no, it's fine. I will say that it is good that this one. Unfortunately, it is good that this one was caught, because it seems like in the past couple of ones the shooter has gone with, meaning they've either taken their own lives
died
or were shot. Yeah,
or they claimed not to say that 4 is okay. 0 is the goal here.
Yeah.
Um, but it was only I hate saying it like that, but it was only 4 people. Like I think of Uvalde, where nobody did their job, and he killed so many people because nobody went in the building because of all these safety features that weren't safety features, and nobody was doing their job, and they had a lot more press releases happening than actual things happening.
Right.
And like the last few mass shootings in America have been smaller, but they're still happening at an increasingly large rate. And it I don't understand how anyone can justify them.
Yeah. I don't know either. I mean, like I said, or like you said, actually, the fact that they're caught, the dad's getting justice, the kids getting justice, like, or getting
Yeah.
served justice, I should say, um, is good. Like, I mean, it sucks that it happened, and it sucks that it
Yeah.
took this amount of destruction to happen. But hopefully, in this situation, the kid will get the help that they need, and maybe the dad needs some help too, and they'll get that.
Right.
Because that's really all we can hope for. Like, really,
Mm-hmm.
like there's nothing that we can. Unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do about it now, about that specifically. What we can do is we can prepare ourselves and do
Mm-hmm.
exactly what we've been doing for the past 3 or 4 years, 5 years, however long we've been
Mm-hmm.
teaching, because that's what it is. It's that we've got to
Yeah.
make sure that we are doing our job, and for anybody who's not in an educational field, like, for you might not even understand the
Yeah.
mental fatigue that we have as we go through that, but it is important for you to understand that it takes a toll. Like, we're losing teachers at a rapid rate, and it's not because they're getting older. It's not because they're not getting paid what they should be paid.
Mm-hmm.
It's because mental fatigue. We are
Mm-hmm.
getting shit on daily because of kids either being super disrespectful, or admin who are not being supportive, or massive situations like this where we are like, you know what, I don't want to be in this situation, and
No.
I don't blame them. I really don't. I don't blame somebody who leaves the field because of that. Like, it's a scary thing to face. So um I don't want to rush us off of this topic.
No, but I think
I
for
think
our own.
we've kind of made our
Yeah.
points, and it's
Yep.
probably best that we do move on. If you guys have anything you want to add, we're more than willing
Mm-hmm.
to read them in the
Yeah.
comments. And
And I think we talked about this in our mental health video too. This is a hard topic. We like super understand if this is a trigger warning one, and I know a lot of people can't listen to this.
Yeah,
So
it'll be
if
in the title that you.
yeah, yep,
So
or the
I
description, but
also
yeah,
want to say that if you're going to make comments, you better make sure that they're appropriate, because
this is one I will delete. I
I
will
will not
delete
handle that.
comments. And
I might
it's
not
not
delete. I might just make bad. I might make something mean back. I'm gonna be honest. So I
um
know that's not a good look for us, but I don't like that.
so this is one topic. Sometimes we talk about things on here that, it's all in good fun and we're very, passionate about it, whatever. This is a topic that's not to be joked about. It's not funny. It's not cute. It's not a meme. And I know that we do have a lot of our kids that watch. It's not funny. It's not cute. It's not a meme. It's not a joke with your bros to joke about school shootings.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those ones that's just, it is a
It's a line
tragedy.
you don't cross.
People died. So, on that delightful note, you had something you wanted to share about a popular YouTuber.
Streamer. He's a
A
streamer.
streamer, my apologies. Who is this
So
person?
his name is Ninja. Which is this is also not a super happy thing. Like I said, we
This
don't
is the
have a
worst
whole lot of
episode.
positive. Yeah, we our planning was not the best on this one. I
Well,
mean, to be fair, we didn't plan out the other thing, but it's an
let's
important thing
make
to
that
talk
very
about.
clear
So
for the FBI.
yeah. No. Ninja. He made a post on X about his most recent visit to the dermatologist,
Okay.
which is
Odd
a
start.
skin doctor.
Yep. Okay.
Um,
So
and
so
apparently
pause. Who is Ninja?
Ninja.
What does he
So
stream?
it surprises me that you don't know Ninja. I'm gonna be honest.
I might. I just
Ninja,
might not know the name.
wicked blue hair.
Oh! 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 Oh!
Yeah,
Oh! I
got
do know who this
wicked
is.
popular in like 2016, something like that.
I'm gonna look him up while you're
Um,
talking. Keep going. Okay.
Fortnite guy. He loves Fortnite. He got
Yeah.
yellow
Okay.
skin,
I know
all
who
that
this
stuff.
is.
But he went
Yes.
to the doctor and was getting a mole checked out, and it turns out that it was melanoma. And so
Oh.
Ninja has cancer, had cancer. They removed the mole and some space and some skin around it just to make sure everything's good. But they caught it early, from what he was saying. So the good news is that he more than likely will be okay.
Okay.
But it's interesting that it just goes to show that no matter who you
Tyler
are.
Blevins.
Yes, yep, that's
I
the one.
see why he went by Ninja.
It just goes to show that no matter who you are, it doesn't matter. The health diseases will get you, or could get you.
So
maybe not will, but could. They'll get you.
They'll get you. So not to totally flip this around, make this more comedy based, but I feel like we should bring some lightness in. Have you ever panicked about like a skin thing or a mole and like freaked out Googling it for like, first day? Oh, okay. So you've never
I'm
done
not
the
like
thing
you in that sense where I go to
I have to know.
Google.
I have to know. So there's been a couple times where I've like had something happen that the first day I'm like, it's a mole, Jasmine, you're fine. And then the next day I'm like, did that grow? That change? Is it different? So then I look up like how to know a mole is cancerous. And then it's like if it grows significantly or changes color or whatever. And I'm like, okay. Did it grow? Did it change? And then I draw the little circle around it. And then I'm like, I hyperfixate on it for a while. So recently, all of you know because that you listen, I've had like a lot of health things going on. Just like my body has been shutting down in like slow-mo mode. I think we figured out what it is, but I'm not going to confirm anything until I get the confirmation. But I had a mole on my arm that appeared out of nowhere. Turns out, because I freaked out and called my doctor and did a video conference, it turns out I may be overreacting. But I called her and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I have cancer. And she's like, why? You haven't called me in 2 years. Why do you think you have cancer? What has happened since we last chatted? So I went over it and she goes, well, we'll schedule a video appointment. So I had this video appointment. It turns out it's right here. You may be thinking, Jasmine, I can't really see that. It's right there. It's not really a mole. It's sort of like a skin taggy type of thing, but it has like a little patch of brown on it. So I panicked. Turns out when you turn like 23, 24, your body just starts growing moles.
Okay.
And it's fine and it's okay. Nobody ever told me that though. So I panicked, thought I had cancer. I was like writing wills and goodbye notes and
oh my word.
I got real panicky. I was like, if this is it. I'll go out with a bang. Turns out I'm fine. Everything's good.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you figured that out.
So, what are you looking up?
Well, right now I'm looking at a thing that says Lego paying out of pocket to make half the plastic in the bricks from renewable materials in 2026.
That's kind of cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah. I was looking for another news story to talk about because I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head, and I knew that this conversation was not going to go that far.
Yeah. I got something. Sorry. Okay, this is TikTok drama. TikTok. All right. TikTok. So there are these two women that are neighbors on TikTok. And stop me when you know what I'm talking about. Which, by the way, he's not going to stop me, folks, because he won't know what I'm talking about.
That's rude.
You're not going to know. It's on my side of TikTok, not yours. So there are these two women. One of them is, well, actually, they're both married to other people. They're neighbors. They hang out with each other. They, hang out with their kids at the pool, blah, blah, blah. So one of them gets online recently, and she posts a lot of, weird content with her husband. But she posts a lot of content on TikTok. Well, she just posted this whole big series that she's like, the drama. And posted all of her texts between her and her neighbor about her neighbor's husband. So, girl one, don't remember either of their names, by the way. Girl one, girl two, that's what we'll call them. Girl one is our good guy, Okay, that's our girl. We like her. Girl 2 is a cheating some bitch. So girl 2 messages girl 1 because girl 1 is like freaking out, like, hey, this came out and I would like to know some things about this. She posted the text exchange. Girl 2 did. Basically, what happened was girl 2, while girl 1 was on vacay or out of the state for some reason, she was on a trip anyway, was sleeping with her man. She was all up in his business. They were having fun together, and apparently it had gone on for months. They went on a trip somewhere, like the two of them together with a bunch of their friends because they knew each other. They were on a trip, and that's when it first started. And then she went back and said that it actually started here. So they'd been talking for months, sending pictures. She was sending him like lots of pictures of her boobs, all that good stuff. And then our hero found out about it and messaged her and was like, hey, what the hell? So she's now divorcing her husband because of all this. And he was basically like, what? I don't understand why you're so upset. Maybe because you cheated, Broseph. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me. But anyway, they broke up. And girl 2 is still with her husband posting. And she's like, he knows about my infidelity. And he's really sticking by me through this. And she just keeps posting things about how, like, she's trying to justify why she did it and how it's okay because girl 1 was very annoying and her husband didn't really love her. And I'm like, then he could have divorced her, you know? Like, why do you gotta cheat on someone? So I feel like I would much rather, if Connor, if he's listening to this, don't you ever, but if he, if he fell out of love with me and he, wasn't, like, this marriage wasn't working, I would so much rather us have that conversation and either work on it or get divorced than find out he found something from another woman while we were together, I think
that's fair. Yeah.
I think that would be a time I could justify homicide, I don't do well with being cheated on. It's only happened one time when I was in high school, but I didn't like it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you're the one that has, one, cheated on your partner and has also roped another person in that is partners with your friend, and you shouldn't post that about everything about that on TikTok, but, like, why are you posting anything about it, Why are you putting
I feel like cheating with your neighbor is wild.
Wild. Like, it's bizarre. I'm going to try and find it so I can figure out what their names are. Sorry, my TikTok was on full volume, apparently. Halloween blankets.
So while Jasmine looks,
yes,
we're going to plug ourselves here real quick.
Oh, this is a good episode for that, yeah.
We have to continue, Jasmine. Say that nobody has bought any merch. I don't know what you're doing, but help. And if you need help, let us know. There is merch. Good merch.
This is a really good ad read going.
I know, I'm doing awesome. Mind you guys, my script is right here in the air of nothingness because there is no script and I'm sending it and we're going to go for it. There's merch. Go get merch. thesoccerking1239.com. Go to the merch tab, click down on the fourth wall, and go over to No Impulse Control. And then you can choose whatever ones you want. You can get the normal stuff of our own merch of like the just generic No Impulse Control and support us that way. Or you can get the chaotic stuff that will not be there forever. I want that to be very clear. If you want to get that, then go get it because it's a limited time. I say limited. I don't know when it'll stop, but go get it because it won't always be there.
One day we'll just take it off.
Yeah, and we won't tell you.
Speaking of which, has our merch come in?
Your shark shirt came in.
Yay!
Which is part of the chaotic. Go get it.
It's a button-down shirt, but it's got sharks. It's a shark with the main license plate. It's pretty dope. Yep. You should
it
for
is
sure
actually
buy
really
it.
Cool. Yeah.
I think now is the time when we start begging. Put your hands up to beg.
Please.
No, we're gonna beg appropriately.
Oh.
We're teachers in America. Help us help you. We can only provide content if you provide the funds. Call 1-800-ASPCA to donate now to our cause. Help the puppies. Help the teachers.
In post, we'll put like that sad music that you hear at like 2:00 in the morning with the Miss McLaughlin come on and whatever it is. Yeah.
Sarah McLachlan cloth.
In the arms of an angel.
Help the dogs. Flashes of like really decrepit looking animals.
Yeah.
Scraping pennies off the ground.
Yeah. So get your merch. Otherwise, we're gonna make a little clip of that and make you cry. So
in the arms of an angel, fly away.
So this is a random thought because ADHD.
One of us.
Do you remember? I mean, I know they still have them, but they're not as cool as they were when I was a kid, at least. Those like coin machines where you put the coin in, you twist it, and then whatever come out like gumball or bouncy ball or.
They have them at every mall in America. Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, malls are becoming extinct, so chill.
They have them at most tattoo shops in America.
That's fair. That is a fair point.
But I used to have one at. Oops, sorry, go.
So,
sounds like a tea kettle.
Do you remember what your favorite thing was to get out of those?
The really, really crappy gum that was like this big, like
the giant gumball.
The giant gumballs that it was like you had to want to bite it. Yeah. You really had to put all your molars in. That's probably why I have such bad teeth. But then when you would chew it, it wasn't like, you know how sometimes bubblegum is soft and chewy? It's nice. Mm-hmm. It was grainy. No, it was hard. And it's probably been in there since 1902. That's the first gumball ever made kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's probably a little older. But yeah, that was my favorite. Or the mall by my house in Phoenix had a Mike and Ike's one. But they had a Mike's and an Ike's next to each other.
Ooh.
For a quarter. But the Mike's was just red.
Oh.
Just the like cherry flavor. Because they didn't have, like, it didn't get mixed properly. So it was always just the cherry flavor. And the Ike's was all like the rest of it. I loved getting that one. What was yours?
So they used to make, and they were this like, I don't remember exactly, but they were like this like tiny, like honestly, like this size. It's not these, but they were like this size, little like action figures.
Sorry, I muted myself. Yes! I remember those!
I don't know why that came into my brain recently, but I was like, what is that from? It was one of those like triggers that you're like, where did you come from? That vault.
Where did you go? Where did you come from? Action Eye Joe. Action Eye Joe. It's Cotton Eye Joe.
You tried, and that's all that matters.
Mini action figure.
Oh,
I'm looking it up right now. What is it called?
I don't remember. That's so crazy. Like
they're like little Jasmine.
La 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 la.
They're vintage. They're called Bone Brigade.
Bone Brigade. I'm gonna look it up too.
Look up vintage. Research. Look up vintage Bone Brigade on eBay. eBay. You can buy 20 of them.
I like definitely did $90.
BONE. BRIGADE.
Yeah, they're like multiple. Well, no, those ones are zombies.
Hannah Duke, by the way, that's her name.
Who?
The woman. Oh, I'm sorry.
The one that cheated?
Thank you to our new follower on TikTok. And we just got 3 likes on it.
We got a live one?
We got a live one, folks!
We got a live one, reel them in!
Wrangle them! It's actually one of your students. Hey!
Oh, well, you know what? Great.
I know this one too, so. Hey!
Thanks for the follow.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's Hannah Duke.
Not the student. That's not the student. That's the name of the person.
No, I'm not gonna. I would never do that. Oh my god.
Oh my. Good lord.
We're on one today. I wish we had started with this fun stuff and then ended with the trigger warning, because now this feels wrong.
I don't know how I feel about either. I'm gonna be honest, but
well, we're here now, so. Yeah. Anyway. So when I was a kid, let me just describe the scene for you folks. I lived in Phoenix, Arizona. My mom worked, a full-time job. But when we were older, so like, okay, chill. When we were like 11 to 12 years old, we were able to like walk to the store by ourselves, right? So my house was here, visual. My house
Yeah.
was here. And if you walk down the street and then way down the street this way, so like you walked, I mean, it was like 2 miles, but
Yeah.
you
You're
could
walking
walk
and walking.
down to this like convenient grocery store kind of mix. It was like
Yeah. Yeah.
not a grocery store, kind of like a Dollar Tree, but it wasn't a mass market. It was just like a local store. I freaking love this place because they had a lot of Mexican candy that you
Mm-hmm,
couldn't get
mm-hmm.
anywhere else except for these like little local stores in Phoenix. So I used to like buying that. They had these huge bags of hot Cheetos that only had the small pieces somehow. I think they were rejects. Freaking loved them.
Me too.
But they had these gumball machines up at the front, and they were like, you know, the ones at tattoo places or sometimes boardwalks where you it's like the long strip one where you put the quarters in and you go ka-chunk like
Oh
that
yeah.
instead
I
of
don't like
turning
those
it. Like,
ones.
freaking love them. I felt so cool. But anyway, I used to get stickers from them, and I used to like the or tattoo stickers. They
Yeah.
weren't the fake tattoos, which were like the good kind that you would put the water on. These were tattoo stickers, essentially the same thing, but much cheaper materials. Always made me itchy, but I used to
Mm-hmm,
love
mm-hmm.
getting those, and they had good candy in those too. And recently, I don't remember where I was. I think I was getting these done, my arm tattoos. Um, but they had a machine in the building I went to because the bottom floor is a weed shop. The top part is a tattoo parlor. It's a great place. Um, it was very calming while I was getting my tattoo done. But no, they had one down there, and you could get like $1 off of whatever you purchase, or $5 off, or whatever whatever. But I've seen a bunch of tattoo videos on TikTok, and I want to try one with you where you put the money in and you do a random. Whatever one you get is the tattoo you get. And it's like they're
Uh-huh.
themed, so it's like Marvel themed or Halloween ones, and they're usually Flash. They're little. But I want to try it. You don't have to get it, but like, you
I was gonna
could.
say I struggle with getting tattoos impulsively.
I know, I don't
Um,
understand how. You just go get it done. They just put a needle in your skin. And it's permanent forever, Justin. Just go do
that's
it.
the point. There you go. It's permanent forever. Because I have ideas all the time. I
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
don't know that I could do a flash tattoo unless I've looked it up.
Oh.
So those like they'll drop out of the thing and you pop it open. It's like
Mm-hmm.
this is what you're getting. I'll go and support you.
Fine. Oh, I can't find this woman.
Hey, let's end on on um somebody who we both have seemed to love a lot. Noah Khan.
No, he was just
Yeah.
in freaking Portland.
Was he really?
He was just at Autos in Portland, like 25 minutes down the road from me.
That's so upsetting.
I saw that video and I was like, you have to be kidding me. I was so mad.
Anyways, he has a new album coming out. Maybe not album. He's at least got a new song.
Oh, it hurts. Have you listened to
Yeah,
it?
I
Yeah.
listened to part of it.
I had to switch
Um,
that off.
I am so excited for it. Anything that Noah does to me is like pure gold.
It's called Pain is called Cold Water.
There you go. There you
And
go.
yeah, no.
Also, did you know that Noah Khan only listens to because he doesn't like listening to his own music. He
He
hates his
only
own
listens to
music.
one song,
He
and it's
only
Maine.
listens to Maine, which is awesome.
It is. That's
One
also
because
a great
like
song.
I was gonna say that song is like fantastic.
You ready for this?
I'm,
Oh, sorry.
hang on one second. Anybody who doesn't like I said earlier, I'm going to a wedding literally later today. The bride is walking down to an instrumental version of Maine, and I am so about it because it is such a good song. But anyways,
Connor
yeah,
wouldn't
go
let me
ahead.
walk down to NoahCon, so we went with the Lord of the Rings music, which honestly fit our vibe much better.
For what you guys had going on, yeah.
Like the stormy clouds and the whatever, it fit perfectly. So for those of you who don't listen, just hear these lyrics real quick. You ready? I'm the tall glass of water you lost in your kitchen. I'm casually cruel, like a senior prediction. Which, for anyone who knows, Justin's senior prediction was very cruel.
It wasn't casual. It was just cruel.
What was it? Most likely to be alone?
Most likely to be forever alone. And then I got married out of college. Like, who would have thought?
I feel like that was out of spite of your senior prediction. No, it was out of love for your wife. It was
out of love. Like,
and a little spite. It's okay to say.
No, it was out of love, but it was out of like, haha, F you guys, because I actually got married before a lot of you guys.
It
wasn't
spite.
Because of that, though. It wasn't because of that. There was a part
Most
of that.
likely to leave at the sign of a fork in the road. You look just like your father as the news was delivered. Cut a hole in my heart that bled into my liver. I miss being alone when it didn't mean being alone. I heard that little spiel and I turned it off because I was driving to work and I was like, no, ain't gonna happen.
Now, all of you guys listening might be thinking, wow, Justin and Jasmine, you are, you might need some help if you enjoy that music. And you would
This is an ad for BetterHelp.
Okay. Because we do therapy.
Not well, but we do it.
We try. But yeah, so with that, enjoy Noah Khan's new song. And Jasmine, where can they find you?
Over at Asminsta, 1721 on Instagram and Twitch. Asminsta without the numbers on TikTok. I don't post a whole lot lately because I've been busy. You can find the show, though, over at No Impulse Control on any social media that you dare to look on, except for X, because I'm not buying an X thing right now. Justin, where can I find you?
TSK1239 on some things, and The Soccer King 1239 on others. We also have a LinkedIn Linktree. We have a Linktree.
We've never had a LinkedIn. We're not business.
No, we don't have a LinkedIn, but we have a Linktree. So go check that out as well.
It's got Justin's OnlyFans on it.
Well, I don't have OnlyFans. If anybody's listening from my school, I don't have that.
I'm joking. This was a joke.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
It was a joke.
But yeah, so we'll see you in the next one. Hello, Jasmine's washer.
Could you get? Did it go?
It went.
They'll do it again in a minute.
All right, we're gonna get off before it does it again.
That's my dryer, not my washer.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
My clothes are dry.
Either way, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.